The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and
He missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Neagle.
In 1783, two French brothers, Joseph and Jacques Montgolfier, demonstrated for the first time a lighter-than-air flying machine. Now, in the same country, in a similar contraption, we look down at Circuit de la Sarthe, the host venue for the Absolute Beginners League's Formula Renault. It's the 8th and final round on the Season 10 schedule, and you'll be able to see all the Skip Barber open wheel action live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Bonjour, everyone, and welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green. I'm Bill Soupson. Joining me in the booth, as always, is Adam Forever Young. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director, Amjad Yaman, and Dougie Beard is our camera guru. If you brought cyberspace into your place, then over the next 15 streamy award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the 70 minutes of Skip Barber simulated racing that will be streaming your way. GSRC's coverage of Formula Neagle is made possible thanks to the good folks at ilovesimracing.co.uk, the home for your personal created button boxes. I love sim racing. Sim race your way. If you were with us last time for round 7, you saw a classic. Now, because Spa is a favorite track for so many of the league members, there was a large grid of 44 cars to race in Belgium. But there was a race within a race between the 2-point leaders, Tuan Tran and Errol Num. A 4-car train formed up front early, with Tran and Num leading the way, with David Third Degree Burns all in a battle for the lead. Pierce Cockey content to watch the battling from going on ahead from 4th place. When it was pit stop time, Num and Burns came in on lap 10, leaving Tran and Cockey on track. Num had a quick stop, but Third Degree Burns' pit crew got confused and put tires on the car, taking Burns out of contention. When Tran and Cockey came in the next lap, just like Burns, Cockey's pit crew was very slow, but Tran came out right behind Num, and it became a 2-car duel to the end. Both drivers took the white flag together, and the battle for the lead was fierce, but Num miscalculated the closing speed on backmarker Michael Groom, and the 2 cars made contact. The damage suffered by the Roland Estonian was too much to overcome, and Tran got around, and Tran got the win, with Num forced to take second. Cockey got to the final podium just ahead of Burns. But that was then. To talk about now, let me reintroduce my booth mate, Adam Young.
Yeah, Soup, and if you thought Spa was a classic, we could be setting up for another one here for today with that still ongoing tight point battle between Euro Num and Tuan Tran. But of course, they're going to have to do it on Circuit de la Sarthe. Of course, if you don't know, this is the track that hosts the 24 Hours of Le Mans on this permanent road course, and it does include portions of local roads around the area, if you didn't know that. But of course, we're going to go 8.47 miles around here at 13.63 kilometers, and that's going to mean lap times pretty close to 5 minutes along here for today. Now, we got 38 turns, of course, on this circuit, a couple of chicanes, and of course, you guys got some really long straightaways that's going to put drafting very much in play here for today. Now, in the real world, drivers are on the throttle here about 85% of the time. That's going to put a lot of stress in the engine, so these guys will be thankful that you really can't do much in the way of attrition failures as far as iRacing just yet. But what that does put into a factor is going to be fuel mileage. These cars are going to be limited to about 55% tanks to force fuel stops here today, although I don't think tires are going to be that much of an issue as they go along. Now, also, of course, with that, well, we tried to let Amjad out there today in a Skip Barber car, but he fell asleep on us. I don't know which straightaway it was that he fell asleep, but at some point he fell asleep. He tweaked the front end on it because he woke up and had that kind of awakening kind of spell there. So we had to borrow a Formula Renault car, come out here and show you around this classic track. Take a look.
Alright, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Formula Renault 2.0, so let's do a lap around the mall. As you come down the front stretch, the first thing that strikes you is how claustrophobic it feels with the towering buildings and stands on either side. But you can't get distracted because first up is the Dunlop curve. It's flat out in the Renault, but you still need to keep the car settled because braking happens almost before you're even done with the turn. The Dunlop chicane is going to prove difficult with that entry, and the blind second half as well. From there, after you swing under the Dunlop bridge, you'll fly through the Chapel Rundown, which, much like the first corner, sets you up for the next set. Hold right for the widest line into the Forest S's and try to carry your speed as best you can with its banking. Watch out for the exit though, because even with the downforce, the car will get light. Then you're into Tête Rouge. It's just a small dab on the brakes and you're faced with the difficulty of keeping up momentum and launching off with a good exit. It's no secret why you need that either. The Mulsanne, despite being split in three, requires every little ounce of speed this little open-wheeler has got. Let's jump ahead to the first interruption, the Forza chicane. Brake hard and get the car turned in, but be careful not to get greedy about how much speed you take to the apex. Once again, it's a long straight that follows, so you'll want a good exit. Off to the next edition of the Mulsanne, the Michelin chicane. This is essentially the same deal as the previous one, but mirrored. Slide it in and ensure you've got good traction coming out. Overshoot these things though, and you'll pay dearly with a cut course penalty. From there, you've at last come to the final portion of this stretch. The Mulsanne corner will provide its own unique challenge with that kinked entry though. But you're not done with the long straights yet, so back the car up and try to get on the power before you reach the apex. Fast forward into the next braking zone, we reach Indianapolis. The right-hand bend once again doesn't require a lift, but the braking straddles the kink. The banking will help you around this left-hander, but it's still terribly easy to toss the car into the gravel. Switch sides quick and set up for Arnage. This slow, tight 90-degree bend forces you to be precise with its close barriers to the outside. But we've hit the final flat-out stretch of road that takes us into the Porsche curves. These operate similarly to places like the Maggots-Beckett sequence at Silverstone. Each corner gets slower and tighter as you go. Bridge might catch a few people out with that blue wall to the right, but by the time you're into karting, hopefully you've picked up that you want your line to set up for each following corner. This left-hander is especially tricky, since going too far wide can get you a slowdown penalty. Finally, Maison Blanche is flat out no problem with the wings on our machine. Hold to the right, and you've got a small breather before the last challenge of the circuit hits you, the Ford chicane. The first half is much quicker, but don't use all of the track on exit. With the slower second half, you gotta hug the right and roll the car up. As long as you don't botch the curves, you should be fine as you come to the front stretch and finish your lap around the mall.
Amjad Yaman behind the wheel, Joe Peak behind the mic, taking us, well, at least showing us the highlights here going around Le Mans. And now let's go through the championship standings. First, let's look at the points and then we'll talk about what they mean. The Season 6 champ Tuan Tran for Mama Jean Racing is out in front of two-time champ Errol Num for Bush Pink by 7 points. DBR2 Stupid Dogs has David Byrne comfortably in third. Pierce Cocky's podium at Spa moves the Draco Racing driver up 2 spots into fourth. Privateer Patrick Fliss rounds out the overlay. I'm sad to report, however, that while riding his motocross bike, Patrick suffered a pretty severe back injury. He has an extensive recovery ahead of him, so on behalf of all the ABL members and everyone at GSRC, let me say that Sim Racing will be here when you're ready, Patrick. What's important is that you heal well and heal quickly. You're in our thoughts and prayers. Now, let's look at what these points mean. Tran needs to do to secure the Season 10 crown. Being up by 7 points, a third-place finish clinches the championship for Tran. However, if Num wins and scores 20 points, and Tran finishes fourth, earning 13, the two drivers would be deadlocked, but Num would win the tiebreaker based on more wins. So there you have it. If Tran can get a podium, he's your champ. If Num wins and Tran finishes fourth or worse, it's going to go to the Roland Estonian. The team championship's a little simpler. Mama Jean Racing is the Season 10 champ. Tran and teammate Bastian Hausman's 165 points cannot be surpassed. Burns and Vincent Bream of DBR2 Stupid Dogs are in second. Basically a solo effort from Num has Bushfink Pink in third. DBR's team talent, powered by Mr. Excitement, Liam Quinn, and the fan belt Johan van de Belt, in a tie for fourth with Draco Racing manned by Shartfield Cocky and Cooper Collier. Okay, Adam, we've introduced the track, reviewed the drivers and team championship. Now let's talk about the race details.
Yeah, of course, as you've been mentioning, this is the Season 10 finale here for today at Circuit de la Sarthe, and we are driving that Skip Barber car with round 8 and 8. So all these courses are road races. 5 of these races have been 45-minute races. 3 of the races, including the one here today, are 70-minute races in no drop weeks, even though I think there's a race or two that both Twan and Euro would love to have back and maybe change that point scheme up front a little bit more here. But of course, for today, we are running an open setup here. Fuel is going to be held at 55%, and the 2 pit stops is going to be pretty much all but guaranteed here this afternoon. Now, for qualifying, we do have 3 laps lone. They are out there doing that right now. We're going to be talking about the grid here in a few minutes as well, but this is lone qualifying. You're all by your lonesome out there. That race is going to be 70 minutes long. Start will be a standing start here for today. Yellows, the usual local only, and there is a 17 incident cap limit. There are no fast repairs, and that weather for today looks like this. Right now, temperature 83 degrees underneath a clear sky. That means the track temperature is 110, so a little bit slicker through those high-speed corners. Winds out of the east at about 7 miles per hour. Soup?
I think staying in the draft is going to be key here today, Adam. Usually we like to talk about where the passing zones are here. On a lap this big, it's kind of easier to say where can you not pass? I guess through some of the twisty sections, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you go through some of the Dunlop curves and stuff like that. That can get a little trickier still through there. But Indianapolis is probably going to be a great passing spot. All the chicanes, of course, coming off those long straights. But, that's the thing. At the draft here, those straights themselves are going to be passing zones. And it would not be surprised me to see some positions exchange 2, 3, dare I say it, maybe even 4 times down some of those straights.
I think that's safe to say. In fact, the straightaway actually is broken up into 3 parts thanks to the 2 chicanes of Forza and then Michelin. You can get a tow going into Forza. You can come out of that chicane, get a tow going down into the Michelin chicane, and then you can get a tow going into the Mulsanne hairpin and get a pass done there. Coming out of that one, there's room to get it done going into Indianapolis. Then down even before you get to the Forza S's there, you can get it done. So it's going to be fun to watch, especially in these open-wheeled cars. We're looking at a championship battle again. Let's review. It is 2 former championships going at it, Tuan Tran and the Roland Estonian Errol Num. Patrick Fliss also has been making a great run. He came in late, had a great run. Of course, we talked about him getting injured. He has several wins this season. Hopefully, he'll be able to recover, make another run in one of the seasons coming up. All right, what we're going to do right now is take our time as we go through the starting grid, because we want to make sure that we have time to show you the French flying planes that are going to be coming by over here in a minute. They are called the Patrouille de la France, the oldest flight demonstration team in the world. So we want to make sure we have time for them. So let's go to the starting grid right now. On the front row, it is Tuan Tran and David Burns.
Yeah, Piers Cocky and Euro Num, of course, going for that championship, going to make up row 2.
Here's a guy who's had a nice, quiet season running inside of row 3, Ricard Allard, Eric Lukel outside of him in the 6th spot.
Mikhail Hafedazen, he ran into some trouble last time, hoping to make up for it today. Wrong in row 4, Andrew Leach also in row 4.
In the 5th row, it is Bastian Hausman, part of that Mama Jean team that's clinched the championship. Hendrik Kamara in the 10th spot.
Yeah, row 6 is going to belong to Joachim Lundgren, and alongside him is going to be Liam Quinn.
Okay. Ludwig Sawyer and Floris Bashar behind him.
And then we got William Martins de Silva, in row 8 alongside Andy Bonar.
Rodrigo Fiera behind him, Hugo Gutierrez in 17th and 18th.
Jefferson Padovani and Thomas Kick make up row 10.
Peter Basala and Pablo Costa behind them.
Edgar Sancinelli starting in 23rd position overall, but you'll find him in row 12 alongside Anthony Robinson.
Wrapping up the back is Mark Rendell, Kevin Mills, Ricardo Colom, Mike Kubik, Tony Matthews, Asana Christodoulou, Roger Pritkin, Jacob Younger, J.J. Rimmer, and the final one back there, several more here, Rimmer, Seward Matthews, Adam Olson, and Chester Thompson. And now our director is going to try something interesting. He's going to see I want to see if this is actually due. He's going to try to focus the cameras on this aerial display as they come by here any minute. Something that is special that we can do here at Le Mans. Here they come. Look at that flying in formation there. De plane, boss, de plane. Under that Parisian sun. I guess it's not Parisian here, but close enough. Nice work from our director, Amjad Yaman. It really does give a little feel for where we are right now. Now, if we could only have the cars lined up on one side of the track and have the drivers run across the track and climb into them, that would really make me happy, but I don't think they're going to do that here. All right, Adam, we're not going to do Peaks Podiums picks. I'm going to give you time. I'll give you a chance. Pick one podium. That's all you got to do. One guy on the podium.
Oh, well, in that case, you have to go Euro Num. I mean, that's going to be the safest bet.
All right, what's interesting, Num qualifying back in 4th position right now. I don't think that's really going to matter. Let's see how long the opening train is. Everyone talking to each other. You see that purple and black machine of Mama Jean Racing, Tuan Tran, Season 6 champion, up on the pole. Look at those cars glistening under that French sun, shimmering like a semi-precious necklace on your wife's nightstand. 2 rows of precious gems right there, lined up in strings. As I wax poetic here, waiting for this race to get underway, I'm running out of metaphors to describe the track. Waiting to hear those engines start to harmonize. Look at that great shot of Le Mans. We continue the way. The lights are up. Here we go. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows, because the horses are out of the barn. Tron Tran leads the field down into the first corner. Heading towards Dunlop, dropping into second is Burns. Num on the outside trying to make up time right now. In fact, Num didn't like his 4th position qualifying. He's already moved up to second, made short work of that as he negotiates around David Burns, falls back to 3rd. Cocky being challenged by Allard. Allard on the outside. He'll have the preferred position for 5th as he tries to tuck in there. Nope, they line up now, single file. Behind Allard, it's Lukel, Hoflandaisen, Leach, Lundgren, and rounding out your top 10, Bastian Elsman. Adam?
Yeah, and of course, everybody so far has gotten through as we're getting pretty close to start entering your first Mulsanne straight here. And so far, everybody seems like they have all 4 wheels on the car, all wings on the car also.
Adam says it's right. It is the first Mulsanne straight as they start heading down towards Forza. Look at the toe that Num. Here comes the rolling Estonian. It's really pointless. He can have the lead if he wants it. It really might be 3 wide behind him, though. Let's go ahead and look at that one. In the middle, that is Burns. In the clown position is Allard. On the outside, in the joker spot, is Cocky. Cocky backs out.
You get a real sense of how powerful that draft is, because even that second group, even though Tuan Tran was a little bit away from him, they were able to suck up to his rear wing, and even Euro Num wasn't able to push too far out ahead once he didn't have that air off the front end of his car.
That's, if you look at that coming at you, that's Hoflandaisen now on the inside back there. You can see in that long shot battling with Lukel as they go 2 by 2. There they go right by you. There it is right there. It continues to be tight. There's passing going on up front. It's just a matter of where you want to be right now as Allard gets in front of Burns. The top 5 cars running pretty close together right now. There's a little bit of a gap back to Hoflandaisen. Hoflandaisen doing a good job now. Up to 6th. He's picked up a spot.
Now, one driver completely in the back of the field right now, Mike Kublank, it seems like his car is kind of driving a little bit cross-eyed a little bit, but I can't find anywhere where he's had any contact with anybody. So he would, of course, start in the back of the field, but could be an early casualty here to something.
I think I jinxed Hoflandaisen as he picked up a slowdown penalty through the Michelin chicane. He's fallen back now. That's putting Leach up there ahead of Bashir with Bastian Hausman in there as well.
That is one thing that has been a problem, of course, is anybody that's driven this track consistently since iRacing released it on the surface on the service, you know that they changed some of the off-track limits right before the 24-hour race there a few months back, and of course iRacing had theirs in October, so even now some drivers still trying to get used to it. So don't be surprised to see some more off-tracks here today.
Looks like we have a battle for the lead right now as we're watching this one. It is 3 wide. Back there is Cocky watching the whole thing have side by side is Numb and Tran. Numb's going to go ahead and take the lead. Tran back there. Woo!
First casualty because of contacts ended up being Thomas Kick. He ended up getting into it in a 3 wide situation with Mark Riddell and Williams Martin de Silva and ended up going into the Armco pretty hard. So his day might be done here.
They've worked their way through Indianapolis, then the right-hander. Now they're heading down to the right-hander. Houseman looks like he is slow. We'll see if he's had an issue or if he's just serving a slowdown penalty. Yeah, it's a slowdown penalty. So that's a couple one. One for Hoffland-Days and one for Houseman. Now you watch him coming at you. Your leader back out there is Numb right now. Tran in that purple and black machine with those yellow wheels, easy to spot. We look back now off of Numb. Now you can see behind Tran is the sleeper today, and that's Ricard Allard. He qualified 5th. He's up to 3rd. For the amount of racing that Allard has done this season, he's been very quiet, often racing by himself. That's not the case today, as he's in the fray. 6-car train breakaway. The caboose is Neagle, Burns in 5th, Cocky, and then of course we talked about Allard, Tran, and Numb.
Yeah, that 6-car breakaway, we'll have to see if that second group already, it seems like they're trying to catch up just a little bit, but could be all for naught. Already another pass for the lead as it looks like Tuan Tran's going to want to go ahead and take it back from Euro Numb. Obviously, that won't last long. Expect that lead to swap hands quite a bit again here today as they start working their way through the Dunlop curves here.
And of course, in this game of Russian roulette down there between Numb and Tran, if they were both to get together, that would probably play into Tran's favor, as Numb has to finish ahead of him by several positions to pick up those points. And remember, the point distribution is a lot less the farther you go down the finishing order. It starts to get single points down there. It pays down to 15. And Adam, if you can remember, there was a race where Tran had qualifying problems and he had to start from the back, and we watched him work his way up and picked up that one single point.
Yeah, I believe that was Watts Glen, and I was literally just thinking of it. And imagine how much different this point battle would be if he hadn't been able to get that point.
Look at this pass for the lead now. Here they go on
Here's
the top
Cocky,
side.
Aggressive move.
From 4th to 1st. Now they go 3 wide. That's Numb in the middle. Tran on the left, saying, what the heck? Getting out of there is Allard.
Yeah, that was a smart move by Allard, just backing out a little bit early and letting him. And Pierce Cocky gets a little bit sideways coming out the middle part of the chicane there, which kind of allows Tuan Tran to get just a little bit better run on him going down the straightaway. But who's really going to make a move here? Euro Numb, a little bit of momentum. Now Tuan Tran is going to be the one that's going to want to try to take it to the outside, make this thing 3 wide as they go down the Lausanne Straight.
We'll stay on the lead battle for as long as we can, but to be honest, there's fighting going all the way through the field. We're going to have to eventually assume that these guys are going to stay out of each other's way, but right now we'll focus on the lead as it continues to be so entertaining. Go through now, they head down, going through these, I guess we'll call it the 3rd part of the Moulin Straight there, heading toward the Moulin Airport.
And a little while ago, Hugo Hernandez Gutierrez just tagged the back of Rodrigo Capelta Ferrar and just almost completely ran him over in the middle of a straightaway. And I think Rodrigo's day is going to be done here.
And let me apologize, it's Mulsanne. Mulan is a Disney princess. Down through the hairpin now. Back on the throttle again as they go to the 90-degree left-hander that will be Indianapolis. Coming right at you. Okay, director, I know it's fun up front, but let's go ahead and highlight some of the guys a little farther back. Let's go. I guess we'll go back to Leach running in 7th. That's the next car in the train. He's now side by side. No, it's Bashar in a battle here. Who's in the battle with? Oh, Lundgren in a battle. This is for 7th. They're going to come down now. The preferred position is going to go to the car on the well, driver right. Now they work in. There they go through Indianapolis. Look at the over and under. There goes Lundgren. Bashar loses momentum. He's got Leach on the outside of him. Right behind them is Kamara. Back there in 11th, watching the whole thing, a driver we don't talk much about, Ludwig Sawyer. So that battle. So we talked about him up front. So it's about then 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Pretty much fighting it out a little bit. So we look at this battle for 10th and 11th now. Sawyer's going to get the nod, move him up to 10th. Hendrik Kamara back in 11th. We remember Kamara was the driver that got into it a few races ago with Tran in a pit lane incident. And in the wall is William De Silva. We were looking at that battle for 15th. We'll get it on replay. It was a battle for 13th. The car just got loose. Car with a nice view of that one might be Liam Quinn, as it was right next to him. Andy Bonar also had a nice look at that one. There we go. Now watch, this is Quinn. It's going to happen right to driver right. Look for the car on the right-hand side. That's De Silva. The car just seems to take off, slaps it into the wall. Now what do? You stay right there and hope it doesn't come back in front of you.
Yeah, and then we went in the Armco. Of course, the car looks like it got stuck inside the barrier. And by the way, your eyes weren't deceiving you there.
Let's go up front. It's numb. And he saves it. Impossible. The car was virtually perpendicular with the track. And he almost, not only did he save it, he's able to hold on to the lead. Oh, I'm apologizing. That's aero numb. That's some driving. You cannot do that.
Not only was that some driving by Euro, now that was some driving by just about everybody in that 6-car pack there right now, not to hit him or each other there. Wow.
The car, I'm not exaggerating, gets 90 degrees with the track almost. Watch the leader. Next to the car with the yellow wheels. That's numb. That's Tran right behind him. Tran woes up. Everybody woes up. Numb gets back on the throttle at him and doesn't lose the lead.
Oh, that's just amazing.
We're going to look one more time. We're going to ride on board with Neagle. He has the best view of the whole thing. Oh, my gosh. Save that one for the season highlight film.
You know, the side effect that's going to end up being is now you got 3 cars up front. They're going to go 4 wide back there from about 4th on back. That immediately goes 3 wide as soon as I mention it. But now, instead of a 6-car pack, you've got, I believe, now 8 cars in the mix here.
Yeah, and that's brought in. Cocky is now in the hunt back there. He's in the battle with Allard in that mix going on. Andrew Leach in there as well. That's because all those cars had to woe up and let the Numb get the car pointed in the right direction. They work now into the Michelin chicane, 2 by 2 by 2 in that Hornets. That's a pinata full of bees back there. The guy feeling the best right now, Tran, has about a second lead up in front. It's not going to last long. He's not going to be able, I don't think, Adam, he can't stay out in front. Oh, let me excuse myself. It's not Tran. Is it? Yeah, it is Tran.
Yeah, it's Tran, but those guys will gobble him right back up here in just a little bit. I mean, it might take a minute to do, but he won't be able to hang on to that. But at least it gives Tran a chance to breathe, let the heart rate go down just a little bit.
That last shot, my dad would be happy. He was a fan of westerns. It looks like the bandit out in front of the posse that was chasing him there. The lone bad guy in the black hat on one horse and the posse running after him. Talk about leading the stampede. Look at them come down as they go 3 wide back there. How about 4 wide? Let's see who's making the move down on the inside. That would be Pierce Cocky. He's on the inside of Numb right now. He gets that sorted out. Bashar has worked his way up to 3rd. This is not what Arrow Numb signed up for, but you know, you caused the whole thing, Arrow, with your spin. You brought these guys back into the picture. Now you've made your bed. Now you're gonna have to try to sleep in it. Work through the back 3/4 of the track now, coming into the Porsche S's here. Up front, Tran has finally been caught, but it's by 3rd-degree burns. It's 2x2 behind him. That's Cocky in the dark car. Bashar in the kind of beige-colored car behind him. As we look there they are. Watching the whole thing is Errol Numb.
Jefferson Padovani coming over the radio, letting everybody know he has a penalty here. He's probably going to have to pit.
Numb does a good job of avoiding contact. Yeah, I'm surprised that more of these guys racing up here, going 2x2 through the chicanes, aren't having to serve penalties. They continue. We're looking here for Padovani is running back there right now. He's falling back to 14th. Actually, is he coming in? Padovani's going to go ahead and take a stop. It's kind of sneaky. I wonder if he had to serve that slowdown penalty, he was able to stretch it to his slowdown into pit entry. Maybe kind of take some of the sting out of that penalty.
It's very interesting how things have kind of shaped up here the last little bit, especially after Euro's kind of sideways jaunt. Now, I mean, Twan Tran's been able to stay up front, but now, of course, he's got a partner in David Burns up there. And and now you got behind him in that next pack, you got Flores, Bashar, and then Pierce Cocky. So, you know, a little bit of tandem style here trying to shape up. And then Euro Numb behind them, he's kind of by himself a little bit, kind of stuck between the 2 packs. So exactly what probably Euro doesn't want to see, at least at this stage in the race.
In fact, here they come. As you're looking there at 5th, you can see Errol all by himself. What's going on in front? We have a new leader. Oh my goodness! It's on screen. Look at what we've got.
Oh, that's about the big one. We got cars all over the place back there.
Allard involved in it. Lundgren involved in it.
They're still sliding.
Involved in
Henrik
it.
Kamara is sliding all the way in front of all that.
They were trying to go 3 wide, trying to squeeze up through the middle was Neagle. And then the gap closed and they made contact. They got together, all 3 of them taken out. Good job from those guys getting around. We go on board with Lundgren.
Yeah, you see, this is about the point that Neagle tries to squeeze up through the middle. They don't know he's there, and calamity ensues.
Give you one more on board. Let's try it with, let's go way back. Let's try it with Liam Quinn. He's way back. The whole thing happens well in front of him. He should have a view of all the cars getting together. And there's a train for him to go through. There's the contact up ahead. He has plenty of time to figure out where to go. He sees the smoke. He sees the cars woe up. Finds his way through.
And you'll see Henrik here just clip the front end. I think that might have been Lundgren's car, and he ends up losing it. And then that's thankfully, I think he was able to get by without that, without much damage. I think it just barely clipped his rear tire.
All right, so let's take a breath and let's set now your top 10. Here's what's going on. Tran and Burns are out there doing a little dance right now. They have swapped positions probably 3 or 4 times this lap. Burns has about almost a 2-second lead back to Pierce Cocky, who's in another dance tandem, a little Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers here. Nobody's old enough to know that. Is going to seek, they're dancing here together. And then, like Adam had pointed out, Adam, I'll run down the top 5. I'll let you take the next one. Aero Numb all by himself trying to get up to where the action is.
Yeah, and of course, after all that, in 6th place, we find Andrew Leach behind Euro Numb. He's just hoping to try to catch up to the back end of Euro Numb's car right now. But, I mean, those two guys pretty much out there all by them lonesome, especially after that wreck that we just saw. Now, behind Andrew Leach, you'll find Mikhail Haffeldazen. Mikhail kind of doing a good, solid race after some of the troubles he's had the last few races. So he's been able to at least kind of make a quiet race here so far. Probably exactly what he needs to kind of get the momentum and the groove back. It kind of runs a little bit of wide there outside. I forget what the corner is after Indianapolis, but that one. And then behind him, you'll find Ludwig Sauer. Of course, they swap positions here going down the straight, but Ludwig having himself a pretty decent day, picking up a few positions after all that. And then you'll find Liam Quinn back there. And Liam, I think Liam would like to be up a little bit further than what he is, but the situation is just not dictated that here today. And surviving that spin's been Henrik Kamara.
Let's look at Jacob. I'm going to interrupt. Let's look at Jacob Lunger here for a minute. He was back in 20th position. Did he have contact? It looked like he may have made contact with Christodoulou. Oh, I think they got away from it. It looked worse from where I was. I'm sorry to interrupt you here. I thought this was going to be ugly. Nope, they avoided contact. Christodoulou there, they stayed away from each other. And I'm going to sound real smart here. You were wondering what the corner was after Indianapolis. First of all, I have Amjad Yaman whispering in my ear, and I have the trap mech here. Arnage is that.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a brain fart there. So, yeah, Arnage. Who can forget that one? I mean, that's the one I have the most trouble with on this track.
Yeah. All right, so that was a nice rundown of your top 10. Then we covered a little bit farther back when we were looking at that battle going on back there.
Now up front, I do believe, now it's one of those kind of slowly but surely things, but I do think the combo between Floris Bouchard and see, who is that back there with him again?
Pierce Cocky.
Yeah, Pierce Cocky. So Pierce Cocky and Floris Bouchard, I do believe that tandem is slowly but surely catching the front runners and David Burns and Tuan Tran. So it might be a little while here, but we might be getting back to having a 4-car race for the lead. Who wants that to come together slowly still is going to be Euro Numb. Euro Numb has been able to hang back there, and he's been able to maintain that distance even without the draft between him and the rear wing of Floris Bouchard. So, he wants that to kind of come together a little bit later and give him a little bit more time to catch up and maybe get a 5-car pack going again.
Yeah, let me give you some interval times for you viewers who are scoring at home, or even if you're watching alone. The interval between Tuan Tran to Floris Bouchard is 1.8 seconds. That's the difference between. It really doesn't matter. If I said Tran, it could be Burns in the next 10 seconds. So from second to third, right now, back actually is down to 1.3 seconds as they work their way through the chicane. Then the interval from Bouchard, I'm going to say 4th position back to Numb, is about 2 seconds. So I think Adam is right. I'd like to focus up on the leaders here for a minute because these guys are passing. I'm not going to exaggerate. I'm going to think 7 or 8 times per lap. There's a pass by Tran right now. And I would not be surprised if you don't see Burns try to make one more pass going into before they get to the Michelin chicane. He's not going to be able to get there. This time he's lifting because he wasn't going to be able to do it. He didn't want to slow him down. But watch as they go through here through Michelin. There's probably enough time for Burns to make this move. He falls back a little bit. Now, don't let me down third degree. Follow through with the dance steps here. He drops back a little bit, gets a run out of the chicane. Is he going to make a move? And he works to the outside, and there he goes. And so they get that done, going into the Mulsanne hairpin. They'll probably do one more. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch because, like, you can see back there, if you look far enough back, you can see Pierce Cockey and Floris Bouchard doing the exact same thing. So both these guys have both these tandems have a game of leapfrog going on to try to maximize the use of their draft down the straight. And the big loser in that right now is Euro Num, who's losing tenths of a second at a time to these guys. That gap for a little while ago, last lap, was 1.8. Now it's 2.4. So as long as these guys can keep working together like this, they're pulling away from Euro Num.
Yeah, Num's back there shadow boxing. He's got nobody to play with, and here goes another pass. Tran has already got around Burns. Now Burns coming back. They do it twice between Mulsanne and Indianapolis. So it's a matter of we got to get the judges out here to score these two dance teams. The team of Byrne and Tran working of Bouchard and Cockey. That interval, 1.4, holding pretty steady. Num, though, almost 3 seconds now back to Arrow. What I think Num's option would be to come in, short fill the first stop, and try to at least get back in the ball game that way.
Well, if there's one thing that we know about Euro is he probably already has what he's going to do figured out in his head. And, so now the question is what exactly is he going to do? But he's done something like that before. Don't forget, a couple races ago, he was kind of back there a little bit. Honestly, I think we had probably written him off a little bit. It's probably, finishing in the back half of the top 5, maybe low half of, of all that. And it ended up winning the dang race. I mean, it's Euro Num, and that's so he's got some strategy. Don't worry about him. He will be a player by the end of this thing, one way or another.
Let's go to 10th. Yes, this is Anthony Robinson in a battle. Now, two guys watching him. The 29 car on the outside, that's Balasa. I had it right the first time. Sorry, I do that every race. And then there's Mr. Lonely out there, Ricard Allard. He's got some guys to play with right now. That's Allard working on the right next. There we go. Cockey has made a stop. He has not. Cockey made a mistake.
Euro Num's around.
And Num is around as well.
He's coming into the pits. He came in a little bit too hot, and I think grabbed the curb and grabbed the grass and spun her into the gravel.
That's exactly. Has Burns come in as well? Did they?
Burns, Cockey, Tran, all your front runners came in.
Yeah, but Num had the big issue. Num and Cockey both had offs coming into the pits. Our director's going to see if we can get it. Cockey had an off and Num did, but that's okay.
If Cockey had an off, it was very small because he was still right on the back wing of David Burns coming into pit road. But man, all that time lost by Euro Num, that's not going to serve him well through here. Or maybe it might have been Burns having the off. Hold on 1 second. Let me go back and look here.
No, it was Num, I believe. I think he had it.
Oh, okay. What it is Burns went wide, and I think Cockey got a little target fixation.
Target fixation, exactly.
And ran wide.
You took that. Was my idea too that he had a little target fixation and he went wide as well. Remember, these are all part of the dance teams that were up there.
Yeah, so Euro Num's going to be up there. I mean, Twan Tran, he's going to be up there all by himself now after Burns had this trouble on entry, and Pierce Cockey as well.
There you can see both of them. And there's Num spinning in the back, so we have it. There we go. Amjad Yaman, the best in the business.
So now, of course, the problem is that Pierce Cockey probably picked up some sort of penalty for that, and indeed he has found himself pretty far back there compared to where he was.
All right, so here's where we stand right now. Our leader, Floris Bouchard, of course, he still needs to come in. Andrew Leach needs to come in as well, and so does Hendrik Kamara. So there's your top 3. They'll be coming in this time around. Of the cars who have pitted, Tran, my goodness, how about 4.6 seconds over Burns? But look who's come out the best. Even with that spin, Errol Num has moved up 3rd overall. I got to see how long Num was in the pit lane for. Actually, it doesn't even show him for a stop, so I can't give you a time on that one. It doesn't tell me how long he was in the box. So fast, it didn't register. Kind of like getting into bed, turning off the light, getting into bed before it gets dark. Liam Quinn Running back there in 7th. Has Liam made his stop? Yes. So your top 4 of the cars who pitted, Tran, Burns, somehow Errol Num, and Liam Quinn. Then you get to some cars who haven't pitted yet. Colomb hasn't pitted. Then you go back to Cocky and Hofflandaisen, who have both made their stops. You know, we ran through the race review in the opening segment where I go through and recap the previous race, and Cocky and Burns both were in the hunt to win, both had trouble in pit lane, and it gets them again.
Yeah, and if you're unfamiliar with the pit lane here at Le Mans, it's not an easy entry into this, especially if you're behind, you're trying to make up a little bit of time. There's a lot of time to be gained on pit road entry here, but a lot of time to be lost as well, as you saw, where Tuan Tran nailed it perfectly, and just about everybody else behind him had some trouble. And now look at the kind of gap that's allowed Tuan Tran to get up to here.
Now, we probably could have talked to one of the drivers. I would assume here that maybe one of these stops would involve tires today, as usually when we race 45 minutes races, they don't take tires. It's a possibility that with 2 stops that they may want to do tires right now, at least on one of them. So we're just going to watch this a little bit, and we'll get a better idea of what's going on as the race progresses. Yeah, we're thinking as we go through here, we're looking at 2 stops, a big one, and then a splash and go, which kind of makes me think that maybe Num took his splash and go now and still has his big stop ahead of him. Now here's how it is to come into pit lane as we ride on board with Floris Bashar. Of course, he can have a little more calm time of it, as he's not in a battle that every second cost him. There you see the chicane going in. Okay, let's see if we can find some drivers here. There's a little break. We can go ahead and highlight some guys that might be fighting. I'm scanning through here. Our director doing the same. How about we look at 17th real quick? Here's a couple guys we haven't talked much about. This is Kevin Mills in a battle with Paulo Costa. It's a nice friendly little race there. They're kind of one in front of the other. Costa going to make the move. This is going into the right-hander right before the Porsche S's. And they just take their time here. Now the left-hander. Just a nice, friendly little drive down there. These guys know they're on camera right now, and they don't want to have the commentators, of course, get them, so they're being very careful. Scanning back, looking for anybody else that was in a battle. You know, the battles were there were more than I could count a few minutes ago, but they have all dissipated now. I guess we'll go to 5th position, Director. Let's take a look at this one. Liam Quinn. This is with Andrew Leach. These guys are actually not so much a battle again, Adam, as it is a dance, I think.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's these two, and then the next two behind it, between Cocky and Hoffmandaisen, they're the only group of cars in that top 10 that are really paired up the way they are. So, as well as I do, we might be seeing a little bit of an accordion effect here. If these guys can get together and start picking up people as they work their way up the track, but they got a lot of time to make up still, though, so we'll have to see if there's enough time even left in this race for everything to kind of come together, like how I'm wondering if it might. But they got some big names. I mean, the next guy that Andrew Leach and Liam Quinn pair is going to pick up is going to be Euro Num, and Euro Num is not too far ahead of them in the grand scheme of things, especially if they're able to start using that draft with Euro Num being alone.
Yeah, about 2.5 seconds. If I was Arrow, I'm almost considered dropping back 2.5 seconds just to show them how to get to work together. I guess it really doesn't make any sense to go backwards so you can go faster, but he's certainly hoping that they come on up, boys.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and I really think that might be what's playing out here a little bit is we've got everybody else running by themselves, and we've got a couple of guys back there that could be some big players here toward the end of this thing, especially if they're able to get some momentum going here. I mean, because Tuan Tran right now, I mean, he's out front by over 5 seconds over David Burns. I mean, with nobody out there to work with on these long straights, and in these cars, as underpowered as they are on these straights, having that help is all the difference. I mean, Tuan Tran right now hitting about 120, and I'm going to watch Liam Quinn and Andrew Leach here and see what their top speed is going down here the straightaway, and they're already about 120, and they are, it's still gaining quite a bit, and that difference in the mile per hour on these straights is going to catch up. I mean, Liam Quinn now got up to about 125 miles an hour right there at his peak in the draft of Andrew Leach, so that's going to make a big difference over the next couple of laps on these long straights.
Yeah, Tran with about a 5-second lead over Burns, and both those guys racing by themselves. I can report, though, that Tran is back in the lead now. You can see officially as all the other guys have made their stop. Flores Bashar came in, took his stop. Leach, of course, have come in and taken... Oh, no, I guess, yes, they've all made their stop. There we go. Everybody's come in. And it's really, Adam, we really don't know where these guys actually are standing right now, because we don't know how long their next stop is going to be, whether they took their splash and go or whether they have a full fuel to do. We'll know when they, whoever comes in first. I would think the first guy to come in would probably indicate how much fuel they took on the first time. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Arrow Numb coming in pretty soon.
Well, that'll be a question mark, but I just don't think that. I think right now he's probably in the best spot that he's going to be in. So if he did short fill, he's going to try staying out there as long as he can at this point, because if he ends up dropping back and have to come in now, who knows where he's going to find himself.
Let's look at 10th spot here, as Henrik Kamara just made a move around, and there was a nice battle, just got around Peter Balassa. Balassa was running in 9th. Now this is interesting. Look at Balassa take, not even in the toe, just kind of moving over there. These guys are working. They're working through, almost wrapping up here, lap number 7. They're going to go through the S's. This is the twisty section of the course. Balassa behind in the pretty much the black and gray colored car, up in front in the pink and white. What color is that? Anyone want to give me some help? There's that lavender I'm going to go with. See if my rods and cones are close there in that number 04 machine.
I think it's funnier just to let you guess.
Let me guess at it? Okay. I'm going to change now. I've concentrated on, I'm calling it teal. I'm calling it slate blue. That's my color, and I'm sticking with it. Okay. My director says I'm not bad on that one.
Not sure if you just made up a color or...
My wife laughing at my color choice behind me here. Quiet, honey. That's just rude. All right, as we continue this battle, we ride on board with Balassa. We see him racing in a few series of GSRC covers. He's spent a little time in the MX-5 Tour. Good to see him over here. A lot of crossover, a lot of cross-pollination between those two series. They race at the exact same time, both on the weekends, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. So if you can race in one, you can race in the other. Both the little underpowered cars, so it similar translation between the two, although Tuan Tran is crushingly dominating over here in the Skippy section, not nearly as a factor, not nearly as much of a factor over in the MX-5 World Tour. I've talked to our director, Amjad Yaman, about that, and the cars, I guess, Adam, are very different to drive.
Well, yeah, and I took the Skippy out for a couple laps around here before our broadcast today, and especially on this track, just narrowing down that question to this track. this car drives different than any car I've driven here. It is in the corners that you think in like a bigger car, like a GT3 car, for instance, or even an HPD for that matter, the corners that you go fast in on those cars, you're almost going a little bit slower in the Skippy, and the corners that you go slow in on those ones, you're going faster in the Skippy. It feels like a different line to me. It feels like everything else, but that just kind of opens up the possibilities, I think, here. This car, I mean, even though you're only going 125 miles an hour on these long straights, it is a fun car to drive around some of these high-speed corners here.
For the untalented like myself, it's a harder car for me to drive because you can turn it so much with your throttle by the lift throttle oversteer, but it's harder for me to drive, that's for sure, because I pretty much the MX-5, you kind of point it and it goes that way. At least for me. We're looking now at this battle for 5th position. This is Leach we're on here with Mr. Excitement, Liam Quinn. Quinn on your left. Driver right, coming right at you, and makes that pass. Dougie Beard, our camera guru, giving us some great shots, arming Amjad Yaman with some fun camera angles here we can do. Look at that. It's like, I love them when they come at it. I love these long amber shots. You can tell that's Errol Num right in front of them. That's Num, and then Quinn and Leach, and then you can see the other dance team back there of Hoffland, Dason, and Cocky. Now they go away from us. They split up. And that gap, Arrow doing a pretty good job of putting in some hot laps. It's still 2 seconds for those guys to get to him. Now we're looking at Cocky. He's in that black car with the fluorescent stripe. Being chased by Hoffland Dason.
Just to give you an idea what a drafting partner means to you here. The time difference last lap between Pierce Cocky and your leader Tuan Tran was almost 0.7 of a second. Now, I don't know if I don't think that's going to be enough time difference to make up any kind of real serious ground, but I mean, there is definitely a time difference if you're running by yourself as opposed to in a draft with a partner.
What we have now, as I've scanned through the field, we have not so much big clusters of cars like we had before. We either have single cars or 2-car dance teams for the most part. Director, how about we go to 14th for a minute? We haven't given much attention to these guys. Let's look at Ludwig Sawyer. He's just being passed right now on the inside for what it's worth. It's going to change a little later. By one of up, Sawyer fights back, actually. That's Edgar Sansanelli there in the 57 machine. Sansanelli, a veteran of this series. Pretty good driver. Never causes a lot of trouble. This starts, brings the car home safely for the most part. Ludwig Sawyer, I believe this is his first season in this Absolute Beginner League. While we have a second, let's go ahead and promote what's coming up in a few weeks, Adam. You know what I'm talking about, right? We're having the All-Star race, but this time they're doing something different. It's going to be the Legends cars, and if I remember right, it was going to be a Daytona short. I'm not sure what that track actually is.
Oh, okay. I know what track
you know what
it
it
is. Oh yeah, that'll be a good fun there. Are they doing the heat race format like they did last time?
Yes, they believe they are.
Oh, that's gonna be a blast. You're gonna want to tune in for that.
Is that the little? Would you think that would be the little Legends Oval that they have at Daytona? Is that what Nope.
No, they don't have like a true Daytona Oval. It's part of the road course a little bit, and it just kind of uses a little bit of the road course to kind of go off a little bit. It's really short, really quick laps. I mean, you're gonna be we did it last time at what, Okayama short?
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll be looking at lap times probably about half of what that was.
If you have not seen one of those, it's coming up. Off the top of my head, and I'll give the official time here at the end. In fact, maybe I can look at it while we have a break while we're talking about it. It's a different type of format. It is May 7th. Hey, that's my birthday. Cool. That's a nice birthday present for me. Little sprint, little heat races that they set up. You score points all the way through. All one session. There's not a lot of downtime. Really well organized. A completely different type of racing. I couldn't recommend it more. Come on and check it out. May 7th, this time on a Sunday. Nice, quiet race right now. Everything's settling down. Scanning through, see if we can get a little more love for some other drivers back there while we have the opportunity.
Okay, now a tandem pair that might be able to make a difference here is that pair with Andrew Leach and Liam Quinn. Both those guys ran lap times close to 4:57.5, where last lap Tuan Tran ran a 59. Now that's a 1.5 second difference. That could be enough to put some dents into some intervals here over the course of the next couple laps, particularly with the fact that we still at least have that pit stop to go. The amazing thing is that Euro Num, even technically running by himself, is still able to pull down lap times in that high 57s right now. So he is holding his own out there by himself.
Yeah, it is really impressive. We ride on board here with Leach, making the move on Quinn. Quinn happy to surrender the position, all part of the routine. And that gap, though, as the dance continues back there, they are making absolutely no time up on Aero Num. They try. It's 2.3. It's been about that the whole time. Num really unfortunate. I think if you can find a partner to dance with, he could do something here. If he didn't have the spin, it's really he has only himself to blame. Let's go ahead and run through the field. We'll do them 5 at a time. We'll see if our director can stay up with us. We'll send about 5 seconds on each driver here. Our leader, Tuan Tran, he's up ahead by almost 6 seconds ahead of David Third Degree Burns, running back there in second spot as he's working into Arnage right now. Floris Bashar back there in third position. Again, he's all by himself. He's lost his dance. Or Aero Num, let's see here a minute. Nope, I guess that was it. I thought he had a dance partner, but apparently not. Running in fourth now is Aero Num. Then Adam, I'll round out the top 5. We go back to the first part of this team. Right now it's Andrew Leach. I'll take it from here. We go back to 6th spot there, Liam Quinn.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm holding down the wrong button. I was going to say, you mentioned that Euro Num didn't have a dance partner right now. Well, he's getting ready to with that combination there between Andrew Leach and Liam Quinn. Of course, Liam Quinn running in 6th right now. Putting on a good show. They are running lap times significantly higher than what your leader Tuan Tran is right now. So that is going to be a pair to watch here in the next little bit. The next tandem is going to be Piers Cocky and Mikhail Hoffeldays. And this tandem not putting down as good a lap times as what that Andrew Leach, Liam Quinn tandem is, but the group between Cocky and Hoffeldays still is running some pretty quick times out there right now. They've got some good times out there, and they're fighting hard. We are hearing that David Burns is coming to pit road. I think that was Euro Num I see behind him. Go ahead and take it over.
There we go. Yeah, that's one way to get action. That's whenever we try to do a rundown, it's pretty much guarantees that something's going to go on. So Burns has come in. Now, this has got a hunch. Burns, of course, notorious for having bad stops. Aero Num has shown that he didn't have a great stop this time. I have a hunch that Num is going to stay in there a while this time. If he has any hopes of getting back in this thing, he's got to come out next to Burns. Burns is in right now. I think these guys would be here for a while. Num is about 3 stalls back, maybe 2 stalls behind him. We can see right now. Go ahead.
I was going to say, the part that I find most interesting is that Andrew Leach stayed out there while his dance partner, Liam Quinn, came in. Hopefully they're able to pair back up, but those two had a really good thing going for them.
So here's how they file out. Burns is coming out. It's going to be 8th overall. Balasa is in there. Num is between them. This might work out for Num. If Num can get a little bit of a hustle here, get up to Balasa, who's yet to make this pit stop, maybe get a little bit of tow, and then get up to Burns. Burns is about a second ahead of Balasa. He might be able to get in there and find somebody to play with. Then Kamara is up in 7th position. So the leaders of all the cars who have pitted for that second stop is Burns right now. The top, and Burns running in 8th. The top 7 drivers yet to come in. Let me take a second. I'm going to run down here from where we left off. I think we got back to Allard. Let's look at 11th position real quick. Let's go to Peter Balassa. He's in this little bit of a battle. We've seen this. Oh, this is Errol Num. Here we go. I think we're going to forget our rundown here as we're watching Errol work his way through the field now. We got something to watch. But here goes Balassa. Now Num has got around him. Now the dance up in front. This is two guys on different pit strategies. This is Burns and Kamara. Burns actually is going to leave Kamara behind. This is a battle for 7th and 8th for Burns and Kamara, 9th and 10th for Num and Balassa. But two of those guys have got to come out of there. They'll have to make that stop.
Yeah, but meanwhile, while they're there, they're definitely going to play a role. And what Burns wants to do is leave Euro Num in a rearview mirror as fast as he can, just to kind of retain that third position he had when he came in. If you get Euro Num back up under your rear tail, you're going to lose. You have the potential to lose, a position or maybe even several positions. He's able to catch you back up to a pack. So I think David Burns right now wants the opposite of what we think he might want, in order to retain a podium spot.
Let's go to the lead real quick because we can highlight something that's going on here and the other championship. Tuan Tran out in front just put a lap on his teammate, Bastian Hausman. You can see those cars mirroredly painted there, black and purple, purple and black, the familiar colors of Mama Jean Racing. And Mama Jean, if you're watching from your home in Lakewood right now, congratulations on your first championship in any iRacing event. Tran and Bastian Hausman, Mama Jean Racing, your season 10 champion. And on my screen, Tran has, oh no, Tran is gone. He is in the twilight zone. Will he come back? Don't go to the light, Carol Ann. Stay away from the light. Come back.
This would not be the first time this season he's had some sort of connection trouble. The problem is this time it could very well cost him the championship if he doesn't reappear here soon.
We were talking about him and the team championship. He is gone. And that is, if you're thinking it's not fair, well, in real world auto racing, it's not fair there either. This is the sim racing version of a $4 part breaking on your machine.
So with 8th position, where Euro Num is at right now, granted, we think he's going to come up to at least maybe 4th or 5th. What becomes the magic number if Tuan Tran falls back far enough he doesn't score any points?
Yeah, well, all he needs is 7 to win, so that would probably be about, I'm just off the top of my head, that would be about, well, maybe I can actually look that up here in a second. Maybe our director can actually bring the points.
Tuan Tran is officially fallen out of the session.
Yeah, let's go ahead. We're going to put the graphic up there real quick and we can look and see what we need for... There we go. He needs 7 points to get there. That would be 9th place for Errol Num. So, unless disaster strikes, the Roman Estonian might be able to get there.
If you're Euro Num, you back out of any battle that you have and you run just by yourself as much as you can right now.
Let me tell you, does GSRC come prepared for... cover an event? There you go. You're not going to get that type of graphic on any other broadcast company.
I am just heartbroken for Tuan Tran, though. I mean, that is just... Here comes Piers Cocky. Allard's right behind him as well. These are your 4th and 5th place vehicles right now.
All right, Soup. Suck it up. Get back in it. There's still a race to cover. It just... it's hard when that has happened. So here comes the guys coming in that have yet to pit. Your leader, Floris Bashar, has yet to come in. He's one of the last cars out there. In fact, he is the last car.
But that's going to put David Third Degree Burns in the lead possibly this thing when it cycles through, doesn't it?
I think so. Remember, Third Degree was following Tran. He was about 5 seconds back. And when they were 1-2 up there, neither one of them had a dance partner. Burns came in early. Right now, Burns running in 4th. The drivers ahead of him, Hoffland, Dason, Leach, and Bashar all need to come in one more time.
Okay, Tuan is reconnected to the session. Now, this is still important, folks, because if he's able to get back any sort of position, that could change the scale of where Euro Num has to finish this race. So we're just waiting for him to hop back in his car at this point.
Yep.
And I don't think he's technically lost a lap yet.
And still has 20 minutes, under 20 minutes to get something done. So we'll see where he cycles out. I'm going to let you do that interview with Tuan Tran, okay? I don't have the heart to do it, Adam.
That's even if he comes in here for an interview at that point. Man, I don't know. I might storm off myself at that point.
I had to do one the other day, as we'll talk about. I had to interview Sarah Dove as a female driver that was on her way to her first career win, and she made a mistake. That was heartbreaking, too. I just don't have I'm just not as cold-hearted as you are to be able to do these tough-hitting interviews, so I'm going to leave those to you.
You're going to have to tell me the story, what happened there later, but if she was up there once, she'll get up there again.
So, Bashar, Leach, and Hofflandaisen are leaders right now. Burns is the leader of all the cars who've pitted. Let me give you an interval from Burns to Errol Num, and this is interesting. This is only 1 second. Num is there now. I don't know, how does he do it? How does he do it? Does he have enough fuel is the question.
He had a little help there from Henrik Kamara, who Henrik Kamara himself, even despite that spin earlier on in the race, he's shown some speed in the series since he joined it. So he's able to kind of latch onto his coattails a little bit and get back up onto the back wing of David Burns there. But that could very well be your battle. Now, Tuan Tran is back in the car, but he sits on pit road. We are waiting for him to rejoin the field to see what happens and how things shake up.
And there he is. You can see. You can almost feel the sadness from coming from beneath the simulated driver helmet.
Yeah, you can even tell with the way he kind of rolls off pit road. There really wasn't any kind of forcefulness
urgency,
behind it. Yeah, urgency. But I still think that he retains possibly on the lead lap here. So
showing him in 20th. So points start at 15th. He's got his work cut out for him. Oh, my goodness. Well, let's go ahead and focus back up on the race that's going on, that we still have going on. 15 minutes left to race. Your leader, Floris Bashar. He's got about a 2-second lead over Andrew Leach, who's got about a 7-second lead over Michael Hofflandaisen. But that's all kind of short-lived, as they'll be coming in soon. Now, my timing and scoring on iRacing is showing Pierce Cockey in 4th. That's different than what I'm actually getting on the, what I'm actually getting from IRTVO. I believe it is David Burns. That's because Cockey is yet to cycle through. 4th place is David Burns. And I think this is where we're going to focus because, Adam, take a look at David Burns and look who's filling up his rearview mirrors.
Yeah, they're getting ready to get into a situation where they're going to start swapping the lead back and forth too. That's going to be your battle for the lead. So anything can happen, and right now, but at the same time, I mean, if you're Euro Num, you don't want to take any unnecessary chances because at this point you have the championship. You know, and here comes Andrew Leach, your second place runner on pit road. Now we're going to see where he shakes out. Keep in mind, I mean, those guys are more than 25 seconds behind them. So this is going to be a pretty big deal here about where these guys come out if they're going to have to only put a little bit of gas in the tank.
You know, GSRC sends us away to seminars for commentator training, and I was fortunate enough to go to the seminar that was labeled Find Drama When There Isn't Drama. So I'm going to give you something here. You think you want to leave this thing is over with 13 minutes to go? I don't see how it's possible for Errol Num to be as close to David Burns as he is. The only way for him to do it was to really skimp on his fuel strategy and get up there. Does Errol Num have enough fuel in his tank? Remember, when he was in for his last pit stop, Tuan Tran had the race in hand. Errol Num could have easily said, there's only one way for me to get this championship, and that's roll the dice, take as less fuel as possible, and hope I can get to the end. Now, given this situation, does he regret that? Is he short on fuel?
I don't know, but along those same lines, creating drama where there may or may not be drama. Looking at the interval between Floris Bashar and David Burns right now, and you look at where Andrew Leach ended up coming out in regards to those, I really wonder once Forrest Bashar comes in and makes his pit stop, is he going to come in with that lead group of Euro Num and David Burns right now?
There
Is
you
he going
go.
to come back out on the track right there? I don't think this thing's done. I mean, I think it still might be a 3-horse race between Bashar, Num, and Burns here in a little bit.
They might be thinking that right now. In fact, as we look there at, we go back up, notice that Burns is still leading. Errol Num apparently in no hurry to get around him. I think he'll sacrifice pace for fuel mileage. David Burns, if he realizes what Arrow is doing, he may not want to sit out in front. It's kind of like in the Olympics, those bicycle races in the what do you call it on this bicycle where they go around in circles, in the cyclodrome, I think they're called. The velodrome, there you go, where neither rider wants to be in front. Well, Errol's going to prove me wrong as he takes the lead right now. Velodrome whispered in my ear from Amjad Yama. Thank you, Amjad. I think the cyclodrome is, you use it to make like yellow cake uranium. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, now you're trying too hard.
Leach in 4th, Quinn in 5th. Nope, my timing and scoring must be. It's still showing me Bashar as the leader, which is the case, I guess. Yeah, that's true.
I'm still amazed that he's been able to stay out as long as he has here, but he's got to make his stop eventually, and he's lost about a second onto that pair now. I think his best chance is going to be to come in sooner rather than later at this point. And that way, I mean, that increases his chances of being able to latch on to the back of them. It kind of runs wide a little bit there through Indianapolis as they head toward Arnage. By the way, that car behind it, that's Bastian Hausman. Hausman ran into a little bit of trouble early on in the race, a couple of slowdowns. I think got caught up in a little bit of an accident too. So Bastian is not on the lead lap and not in contention here.
Bastian was the car we were looking at. He was teamed up with Tran. The two teammates were together, and Bastian saw his teammate go to the Twilight Zone. Burns back out in front of Num right now. Just under 10 minutes of racing left.
Okay, so now the question is Forrest Bashar coming this time by? He's working his way through the Porsche curves now.
Yeah, and Adam, you're absolutely right. It's only 3 seconds from Num back to Leach and Quinn, and those guys are really working well together. So we'll monitor that gap. I think Num and Burns realize it as they're dancing as well up in front.
Okay, and Bashar's coming in.
Here he comes.
All right, so now the question's going to be, where does he cycle at in relation to Num and Burns?
Looking for Burns right now. He is just going through the little chicane going past pit entrance. No, here he is. He's coming up to the Ford chicane now. Here we go. And actually Num is leading the way. They work through the Ford chicane. There's pit entrance right there.
Oh, you're faked me out there for a second. I thought he might be trying to come in.
Bashar still sitting in the pits.
He doesn't need much fuel. He's away.
He's rolling. Num's at full speed. Num's going to get by. Oh, boy, it takes so long to get out of pit lane.
It's that 37-mile-an-hour pit road speed limit gets you sometimes.
No, it looks like...
Oh, no, he sped. He sped. He coming out of pit road. He ended up hitting about 50 miles per hour, realized what was happening. He got fixated on the guys behind him.
If he couldn't get Num and Burns, he wanted to at least get Quinn and Leach. He doesn't get those either. They'll have to come in one more time. And now, Errol Num beginning to gap David Burns a little bit now as he's up by a half second. Errol Num really sticking it to the commentator right now, telling Soup, you take your fuel mileage problems. This is what I'll do with it. I'm going to run away with this thing. All right, Errol, go get him. But what this does, though, you know, when you think about it here, Adam, with Numb and Burns separated now, yeah, you got to think that's good news for Leach and Quinn.
I think so. I mean, well, of course, as we say that, there goes Burns around Numb. I really think Numb almost half lifted there to let him by. But, yeah, Liam Quinn and Andrew Leach being a really good pair. I mean, Liam Quinn's able to set lap times right now in those low 4:57s, which is a big deal. That's about a half second faster. But we got 7 minutes left in this race. Oh, was that Bastian Hausman in the wall or just letting him go by?
No, that was Hausman. He missed the Mulsanne corner.
His engine blew. Going into the chicane there. So Bastian Hausman's day just went from bad to worse.
Yeah, if he hadn't got to he was still on the straight. Well, Mama Jean Racing, glad they got that championship locked up before they got to Le Mans, because so far they're not going to score. Just over 6 minutes left of racing to go. Numb out in front of Burns. They continue to swap. What I think we'll do next time around as they come around, we're going to cover that entire lap around. See how many times they swap here. Lap times are about 5 minutes. With 5:52, I think we're going to be getting the white flag lap the next time by. So we will certainly cover them the entire time around for those 5 minutes. Let's take this opportunity to tell you where everybody else is running. Liam Quinn running in third. Andrew Leach in fourth. Bashar, and we still think he has a penalty to serve, so he's fifth right now. That could get a little uglier in a minute. Pierce Cockey, he was up front for a while. He's back in sixth. Michelle Hoflandaisen in seventh. Having another lonely race is Ricard Allard. He's got 23 seconds up on the ninth place driver, Hendrik Kamara. And then from Kamara, go back to the next car back, which would be Basala. Let's give it both ways. I like Balasa. I think the director actually said it wrong the first time it fooled me. There's your top 10. And up in front, Burns out in front. They work their way, heading towards Indianapolis, and then Arnage. The only thing that Tuan Tran can hope for now is that Errol Numb is going to run out of fuel. We'll find out if that's a factor in a few minutes, as he'll either come in and top off, do that extra stop, or he'll try to nurse it around for those final 5 minutes. Down the straight they come as we ride on board with the two-time champion, looking to become the first three-time champion. That's Errol Numb. We'll work through, and there will be no pit stop. So here we go. The last lap. Usually I would start getting excited, but with 5 minutes to go, my voice can't take it. So we'll save getting excited until we maybe get to the Mulsanne hairpin. Let's expect them to swap positions 2 or 3 times before we get there. And Adam, sure enough, look, Bashar did have to serve that penalty. There he is.
Yeah, that was a tough break. I really think that if he would have been able to come out, and of course Pierce Cockey for some reason have to come in too, maybe a speeding penalty there also. But I really think that if he would have been able to get out right, he might have cycled into maybe third position there for. Of course, we're talking about. Sorry, I'm
Bashar.
Yeah, Bashar.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, I really think he could have cycled into maybe third position there. But unfortunately, that was not in the cards for him today. But a good up front battle between Num and Burns is here on the last lap.
There we go. They work down the first part of the Mulsanne Straight, and they're going to go ahead and give it to Burns right now as they head into the Forza chicane. This is a little right-left chicane that sets up the middle section of this straight. Right now, it is third degree Burns out in front. He'd like to wrap up season number 10 with a victory. They'd go right, they'd go left, back on the throttle now. Everybody clean as they go through the middle section. Back there watching. There's no reason to pass if you don't want to, Errol. But he's going to say, all right, I'll do it right now. He pulls to the outside. They go side by side for a minute. Cialis bathtubs down as they head down into Michelin. Yep, and Errol Num's going to take it in there for now. So there's your second pass so far on this final lap. Burns back watching. All of this kind of pointless probably until they get around that Mulsanne hairpin, and there it will be. Passes will mean something right now. Going through Michelin. This is a chicane that goes the other direction. This one is a left-righter. Now they're back on the throttle going down to one of the toughest corners here. The Mulsanne chicane. There's a little bit of a kink that gives me a hard part. For me, it's right in the braking zone. These guys know what they're doing, and right now, third degree moves in front of the rolling Estonian. Burns out in front. DBR Two Stupid Dogs looking to pick up a win here in France. Bush Fink Pink hoping to get that win as well. They head towards the hairpin. Now it starts to be a little more serious. They negotiate that slow corner back on the throttle. You can hear the crowd start to stand. The two-dimensional fans are up on their feet, doing their best to clap their hands, and we're going to have another pass. Here comes the rolling Estonian as he takes back the lead. A little right-hand kink before they get into the 90-degree left-hander that is Indianapolis. Burns looking to take it there, or is he going to wait? Now the left-hander that is Indianapolis, and then another 90-degree right-hander that is Arnage, and now the racing gets serious. If you're going to make a move, you got to start making it pretty soon. Burns looking for a good exit through this right-hander. Now they're both on the throttle. Is there enough time to get a tow before they get into the Porsche S's? The number 125 machine trying to gobble up the 78 car. 2 car lengths back. 1 car length back. Half a car length back. Burns peeks to the... He's going around. He's going to get this pass made as he's looking to get... Trying to do it on the outside. 2 by 2. Now Burns is going to be in the preferred position. Num on the outside. They continue to race side by side. Will Num have the momentum coming off of here? How long can they stay? Now Num's going to be in the preferred position, but look at the drive that Burns gets on the outside. They negotiate that. They continue, and now third degree is out in front. Num has a little bit of a bobble. Does he have enough time to get it back? There's only the Ford chicane left in front of him. Num trying to find some way around. Burns looking to take his half out of the middle. Num looking to come on the outside. I don't think there's enough time to get there. It's too little, too late. Burns is loose. Does he have enough momentum? They go in. Burns continues to fight. Now they're both on the gas, and I think give the win. The final grand finale of season number 10 goes to the David Burns. DBR Two Stupid Dogs. Bush Fink Pink gets second place. But the championship goes to the Rolling Estonian Aeronum. Congratulations to go around to both drivers. And to wrap up this season, our director is going to give us a replay of the final few yards. You see them side by side, Adams, and there's Burns out in front. I really thought here that we were going to have issues.
That was an incredible incredible last sequence of quarters there. I really think when Burns shot over, and Numb was thinking, oh, here's my chance, and he wasn't expecting Burns to come back out the track weight. But of course, he got to expect it going in the last chicane of the race. But that definitely had an exciting finish there. Soup, you still have a voice?
I do. I did not expect the battle to go on where it was, side by side through the technical section of the course. Not the way I thought it would play out. Hey, we're going to take a short break here at the Global Sim Racing Channel, but don't go far away. We're going to do interviews. You don't want to miss Adam Young interviewing Tuan Tran, the disappointment of losing a championship due to a technical issue. This is GSRC. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Absolute Beginners League Formula Neagle. It's the grand finale for Season 10 here at Le Mans. And if you want a grand finale, this is the way to wrap up a season. A great battle between David Burns and Errol Numb coming down to the very end. and David Burns was able to get the best of it, getting the win. Errol Nums has to settle for second, but he can ease the pain a little bit knowing that he picked up his third championship. Liam Quinn, great result from him, finishing third. Andrew Leach and Michelle Hoflandaisen, the two teammates, finished fourth and fifth. Ricard Allard and Floris Bashar, 6th and 7th. Bashar would have had a better finish if not for a very late speeding penalty on pit road. Henrik Kamara, we've been watching him all season. He's a guy to watch when we come back for season number 11. He's only getting faster. Peter Balassa, nice job. Congratulations on 9th, and congratulations for me for pronouncing it correctly for the final time this season. And wrapping up your top 10, Anthony Robinson. Adam?
Yeah, coming home in 11th, Paula Costa was able to bring that car home in 11th position here for today. 12th position belonged to Loic Sauer in that 10 car. Mark Riddell coming home 13th. Roger Pricken in 14th. Andy Bodnar 15th. Edgar Sanchinelli in 16th. Aunas Christolulu coming home in 17th position. Piers Cocky, who we're not sure if he had a penalty or damage or something, had to take a last-second pit stop. That's going to drop him down to 18th in running order. Kevin Mills in 19th, and Richard Colomb, your first car, a lap down in 20th.
iRacing does its best to simulate what real-world racing is like, both on the track and off the track when it comes to broadcasting, where you have to negotiate contracts with broadcasting companies, and then endurance racing, finding teammates, and also the disappointment of a technical problem costing you a championship. Tuan Tran in the blackjack position, the championship's ripped away from him due to a unfortunate mechanical problem as he finishes 21st due to an internet disconnection. Tony Matthews, Jacob Younger go 23rd and 24th. Behind them was Bastian Hausman, who blew an engine, finishing 3 laps down. Jefferson Padovani, Eric Lukel, Joachim Lundgren go 26th and 27th there. Hugo Gutierrez in 28th, 29th, and 30th. William De Silva, Rodrigo Fiera, I'll finish this up, 31st position to kick. Mike Kublank in 32nd position. J.J. Rimmer, Stu Matters in 34th spot. Adam Olison, 35th. Chester Thompson rounding out your complete finishing order. All right, we're going to let Adam talk to our race winner here today. It is David Third Degree Burns. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, of course, David Burns. What an exciting finish! We'll get to that here in a second, but I've got to know, getting about there right after that first pit stop. Did you think you were going to have a chance of being able to get back up there and fight for this win?
I've got to say it. Yes, finally. No, to be honest, I didn't actually, because when I saw Toon come out 5 seconds ahead, I thought, nah, no way I was going to catch him because he was quicker than me. So when I saw him DC though, I feel so bad for him. That's a rotten way to lose a championship. It really is.
Yeah, that's it's kind of one of those agony of defeat kind of things. I mean, it happens in the World War II, where sometimes a $4 part will cost you a championship, and I guess it's unfortunately what happened to Tuan today. But of course, I don't want to take that away from your excitement for the win. Come on, tell us about the last half of that last lap there, fighting with Euro side by side through most of it.
Yeah, I was talking to Liam and I said, should I be in front? Should I be beside him? Should I be beside? Should I be behind? And I was like, no, right, I've got to try and be in front. So when we were coming out the last corner before the Porsche cars, I thought, I don't know if I've got enough. We're going to have to go too wide. And then I thought, right, okay, well, this is where VR is going to really help. And luckily it did.
Well, we all know you've been waiting a real long time for this first win. So I guess go ahead, tell us who you're going to thank, and then get all your excitement out of the way here again real quick.
I have to thank people? No, I'll just thank myself. No, I'd like to thank my mum. No, it's fine. I just like to thank the entire league for putting it on because it's so much fun. It really is good. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, hey, congratulations, David. Spectacular show, and I do believe that Soup is going to catch up with our second place finisher today, and also our newfound champion, Euronum.
Earl, congratulations on the championship. Let's talk big picture first. I know that's not the way you wanted to get it, but you're not the first driver to win a championship this way.
Yeah, I feel sorry about one, but it's not great way. But I had unlucky this season too, so.
Right, exactly. I feel the same way. You've had some misfortune, and it plays out. Luck. If luck wasn't a part of racing, then we'd have the same winner every time. Let's go to the race right now. First of all, I got a couple things to talk about. Your catch, you had a couple catches, but the one about early on where you were perfect, almost 90 degrees with the track, able to catch it and not even lose the lead. Nicely done.
That was very scary. I saw cars coming, and yeah, I think everybody did a great job to stop it and not hit me.
Yeah, that's exactly the point that my booth mate Adam Young made. It was an impressive save, but even more impressive that those guys were able to get checked up behind it. A lot of trust from those guys.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they're very good.
All right, now I personally don't understand how you got back in the hunt here. You were so far back you could find no dancing partner. I had to assume that fuel was an issue, but it looked like you were pretty good.
Yeah, I lost I think 8 seconds spinning in the pit stop.
In the pit lane, right.
Yeah, so I don't know how I got back. I was 1 second faster than everybody when I'm racing alone, so I don't know.
Yep. Well, let's go to the end. Let's get you to the last lap, and the laps are so long here. Let's go all the way around here after Indianapolis and Arnage. You're coming down. Did you expect? I did not think it was going to be side by side through the technical section. That's not the way I thought it would play out.
Yeah, actually, I had no plan. I was happy with second, but yeah, I wasn't just going to give it. So I can trust the way to do the race side by side. So that was fun.
It was very good. It was an impressive. You didn't get the win. You got to give David a lot of credit there for being able to race side by side with you clean like that.
Yeah, definitely. And this first win, congrats to him.
Well, Errol, this is your third championship. This is a pretty good series. I know you have a lot of opportunities to race. Can we count on you? The season's going to start up pretty soon. You think you have time in your calendar to give it another run next time around?
I know, if I'm honest, then I first looked at calendar because I'm not a fan of these big draft tracks, and this season there was, I think, 8 out of 8 were draft tracks. So,
yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. Well, whenever you can come up, it's always good to see you race. It's fun to watch you. Congratulations. Good luck, whatever your next adventure is in iRacing.
Yeah, thank you.
Errol Numm, your 3-time champion. Funny point there. You can always tell drivers, those skilled drivers, the draft tracks, Adam, that's kind of levels the playing field for those who are skill challenged. Those guys who are fast, they like a little more technical course out there.
Yes, sometimes those draft tracks are sometimes known like what they are in the ovals at Daytona and Talladega, the great equalizer, and you kind of saw that here for today. A lot of shuffling around, especially at the start of this race.
Let's go ahead and let Adam talk to one of the drivers that he thought had a real chance for the win, and that would be Floris Bashar. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, Floris. Hey, tough break on that last pit stop. Was it a speeding penalty that you ended up getting there coming out of the pits?
Oh, it sure was. I messed up big time because I'm used to driving the faster Formula cars, particularly the McLaren, and I actually pressed the button for the pit limiter as I went into the pits. Remembered I didn't have a pit limiter, and then fed the throttle to 60 kilometers exactly. Went into my pit stall, got really excited that I survived, and floored it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looked like. He kind of jumped up there. I was expecting you to have a real good chance of jumping up there and possibly third position between those, between the combination of Burns and Numm and Quinn and Leach. And unfortunately, that didn't play out for you. But, great strategy to at least get you put up in that position. What was probably the highlight of your race?
Probably the first 3 or 4 laps, the ones with terrifying drafting, going 3 wide up the straight and then benefiting from side drafting to get ahead. That was pretty special.
Well, hey, great job on at least having a good, clean race, Flores. Giving yourself a pretty good chance at being able to be up there at the front. And are you going to be back next season? Are we going to see you running around here again?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've spoken to some of my teammates, and Hendrik and I, who are Hendrik Camara, and I, who are actually teammates, like outside of this league as well, running in Gap SRT. Yeah, we're probably going to be teaming up, and hopefully not embarrassing ourselves too much. And looking forward to getting some points as well.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by and talking with us here, Flores. Of course, that combination between Flores and Henrik Soup that we've been talking about, Henrik definitely getting faster every time, and that could be a real combination to watch here next season.
Absolutely. Hey, we always liked, when we wrap up a season, we always like to talk with one of the race organizers, one of the series organizers, and then it helps when they go ahead and find themselves on the podium. And I'm talking about Mr. Excitement, Liam Quinn. Liam, before we talk about what's coming up next for the series, let's go ahead and talk about your race. 3rd place, congratulations.
Yeah, that was quite fun. I got a slowdown in the second lap and I was about 20 seconds down, and I thought, that's it, done. And especially with the wreck halfway through the first stint, all I saw was white smoke and just, yeah.
In fact, yeah, I think we were on board there with that. You were our onboard driver getting through there. Hard to see where you were going, huh? Just kind of point and hope?
Pretty much. I saw Henrik barely got caught, and I saw Ludwig got caught as well, but I got lucky.
Well, 3rd place, nice job from you. Did you have a dancing partner for much of the race?
Not intentionally, but me and Andrew seemed to be the fastest pairing out there, really. I mean, my pit stop, for some reason, I must have saved enough fuel, but my first pit stop I gained about 5 seconds. Got out with just behind Aero, but we flew, pretty much.
Well, this is the grand finale for Season 10, but here on GSRC, we are not done yet. You want to talk a little bit of what's coming up in a couple weeks? Give us the details.
Oh, yeah, it's juicy. We've got our Race of Champions tournament, and this season, the best 6 in the Formula Neagle and the best 6 in our MX5 Championship will take place at Daytona Short Course, which has got a grand total of 4 corners, in the Legends car.
Similar type format as we did last time with the groups and gathering points to get to the championship?
Exactly the same, but the engine sounds a lot worse.
Yeah, when did we do those in before? Was it the late models? No, we did it in the street stocks, right?
That's it.
Boy, it is a fun event. If you haven't caught one of these before, it is entertaining. Adam and I look forward to it all season. Hey, Liam, thanks for putting on a great show. Thanks for letting GSRC cover it, and we look forward to the next season coming up.
Yeah, great season. We'll see you next season.
Liam Quinn, your 3rd place finisher here today, and one of the organizers. Next event's gonna happen on May 7th. You don't want to miss this. Hey, let's go ahead and thank everybody at the Absolute Beginner League for organizing Formula Neagle and contracting with GSRC to broadcast them. Also, thanks to ilovesimracing.co.uk. I Love Sim Racing is a website where you can find quality-made sim racing button boxes custom-made to your own personal design, making your sim racing experience more realistic and fun. It helps you execute all those important in-race vehicle settings and pit stop changes, giving you that extra edge on the track. At an affordable, competitive price. Working closely with you, it's their goal to create the exact button box layout you've been looking for, figuring out what it is you want and what it is you don't want, resulting in a box just for you that nobody else has. Your button box will not only work on your PC, but on your PlayStation 4 platform as well. ilovesimracing.co.uk, the home for your personally created button boxes. Adam?
Yeah, and thanks to the company's equipment and software that you're seeing on your screen right now that we use on our broadcast. The original music you've heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Elcombe and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. Now, next up for the Absolute Beginners League is the Race of Champions. And if you've never seen one of these, I got to tell you, in the entire year I've been with GSRC, the last one we put on at Yokoyama was probably one of the funnest races I've done as a commentator. It was just an absolute blast. And that's going to be in 2 weeks on May 7th. It's going to be the Legends car on the short road course at Daytona. You're not going to want to miss it, Soup.
If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including dates and times for all upcoming broadcasts, your best bet is GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. Now, finally, on the behalf of my mic mate Adam Young, our director Amjad Yaman, and our camera artist Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.